What are the words doing, Saksham?
Action.
You eat.
Hi guys, welcome back to another episode.
हो गया action. Oh wait. Cheers.
Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Zero Decks Given, and we're back with something exciting, something that even I'm not sure what we're gonna do today. So, Asa, what do you have in mind for us?
Okay, because we've been going with this whole zero decks given vibe, I want to sort of stay like really true to it, and I want you to be a little more rebellious than your usual, which is already a notch higher. But I want you to be a little more rebellious today.
Even more rebellious than the last episode, the personality color wheel episode. I mean, are we going to do a lot more experiments like that one? Because if yes, I am excited. I'm so intrigued by these experiments that I look forward to what we're going to do next.
Yeah.
So is it something like that?
Yes, it is, and I think since you mentioned it a couple of times before, you are going to be my lab rat for a lot more experimentation that I'm going to do.
Let's
but
go.
Yes, this is going to feel a little more forbidden than the last one as well, because I think we're going to be mapping not just like your personality, but we're going to get into what you believe in or what your POV is
Okay.
like.
Okay. Are we allowed to do that?
Yes, I mean, who's stopping us? The whole point of zero decks given, I think that's what I wanted to feel like, because I think over time people have just sort of forgotten and they're just getting into this thing ki jo sab kar rahe hain, let's just do that, or let's
Yeah.
see what's working and let's just follow that. But I think what I want to get into is a little more different, because I think everyone does have a POV. I just want to sort of voice it out or bring it out louder, because that's what makes a difference.
Okay, that sounds really cool. How do we start? Where do we start?
Okay, so I think the right way to start is to know what you disagree with. Okay, because your POV is not something that that is going to come from other people. It's
Right.
something that you can't help but just believe and follow, because that's your way and that's your style. So I think we're just going to sort of amplify that a little more. Let me give you like a TLDR of where we are headed today.
Okay.
In today's episode, we will be talking about and mapping your POV.
Okay.
I will also tell you about why I take this POV approach with my clients as well, and why I don't help them find their niches.
Yeah.
And I will also help you with like a 4-step process that's like easy to follow and can help you start building a brand the way you want.
Okay, now this sounds really intriguing. So,
Yeah.
by the end of this, will I be able to build my own personal brand?
Yes, I mean, see, we already started, so I don't want
Yeah.
to stop after the last episode about the personality color wheel.
Yeah.
Now that we know a little deeper about what you are, the kind of thoughts you have, etc., I just want to sort of like take it a level above, and I'll tell you how we do that. So here's where we're headed with all of it. Step 1, we will basically just find out what that POV is. Step 2, we are going to maybe just come up with one statement or something, and like for those of you who are following, can come up with that one statement and maybe just create that very first post of yourself. And the third thing, step 3, that is, would be to, without overthinking it, just put it live, whether it's on your Instagram, it's on your LinkedIn, or whatever it is, or just, I don't know, put it out as an affirmation for yourself.
Just put it out in the universe.
Yes. And step 4 will be to basically just repeat that a little more, because that's going to help you sort of stick true
Okay.
to it. Yeah.
But that sounds too simple. If it was that simple, everyone would have a successful personal brand. I know there's a catch.
Yeah, I mean, see, I'm being honest, there's no rocket science. It is
Yeah.
simple, but it's just about how you sort of voice it out, and rather how regularly or how strategically you do it to find your right tribe. Okay. And I think, so this is what I do with my clients as well, wherein I take their focus away from the niches, because, I mean, fine, we can come up with like more popular niches and we can come up with a few unpopular niches, but what exactly are we doing with that? We're just sort
Correct.
of the usual strategy that I think 50 other people are talking about on the internet. Pick the niche that you're in, search for the top 10 performers, search for their top 10 performing posts, and then just repeat.
Yeah.
But what's lacking there, or what's that extra secret sauce, if I can call it that, is the POV, is the unique touch point that you have or your belief system. Till the time you don't put that in, it's not going to feel like your brand. It'll be just another personal brand in XYZ niche.
Correct.
Right? So that's how we are going to sort of put that all together.
Okay, so in a way, are we going to start figuring out things that I disagree with or like my disagreements?
Yes.
Okay.
We'll make it easy.
Okay.
Okay. And I think for those following along can maybe just take out their notes app or something and write down just one statement, and you can obviously tell me about it.
Yeah.
But write down just one statement that you've commonly heard, but then your belief system is somewhat different and you don't exactly want to agree with it. Okay?
Okay, I think I have one already. I think I can think of.
Okay, cool. I think that's a good start. Okay, so Labika, before we even get into the experiment, I want to tell you and the others watching, which I believe are more than I think 15 people now, but I think I want to share why I'm going to get into this identifying your POV rather than following that typical find your niche advice. Okay?
Okay, so in a way, does it mean that people who are picking their niches are not going about this the right way? Are they doing it wrong?
I wouldn't say they're doing it wrong. Picking a niche is important, but I think people are making it harder than it needs to be.
Okay.
Because, I mean, how hard is it to tell what niche you belong in, right? But the idea, I mean, okay, I get it, Labika. You can have one too many talents, but that's exactly the point.
Yeah.
When I had to start my channel as well, I was like, okay, किस पे start करना है? Like, I do this, but I do that, but I do this, and I also do that. So,
Correct.
they're just like, there are so many facets to a person's personality. You can't just put it as like one thing. I get it, there could be multiple things to your personality, but what you wish to talk about is one thing. But I'll tell you why people are making it harder than it needs to be. Because people are going with this whole idea of, I will find a niche that is unique enough for me to get some coverage there, but not unique enough that nothing exists and people don't search for it. And then after finding the niche, they tend to fit their personality into it.
Okay, and that doesn't work.
Yeah, because then it works,
Okay.
but it works if you want to sound like everybody else. But then that's not building a personal brand. That's just
Building a
fitting
brand.
it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just building a brand.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So, like, I think I understand a little bit about how we're going about this and how your clients see this Astha effect that you tend to have on them when you're building their personal brands, right?
Yes, and that's because I don't ask them what's your niche. My question to them is straight up, what is it that you believe in that
Yeah.
other people in your space don't, or other businesses in your space don't?
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's more like a belief system.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rather
So-
than just telling them
Exactly, because the moment you talk about a belief system or a POV,
Yeah.
you are filtering it out entirely. You're filtering it out for what to say yes to versus what to say no to, and how to basically say everything in between, because you are sort of finding your anchor with your belief system and then you're building your niche around it, and that's
Okay.
going to be pretty unique, right?
It is unique because
Yeah.
it's dependent on the individual and how they see themselves and what their perspectives are. But isn't that just riskier? Rather than building a safer niche or just picking like an option which is something they know works, and then choosing not to believe in all of that and then going ahead and building something from scratch.
Yes, it is risky, but then the way I tend to think of it, and even advise my clients to think of it, is being safe doesn't get you remembered.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fair.
you have to be different, you have to stand out, and see, if I'm speaking logically in terms of safety and risk also, I think whenever you're trying to build a personal brand, being
Yeah.
forgettable is the biggest risk of all. So you might as well do something that makes you stand out, because your niche is going to tell people what you do, but your POV is going to tell people how you think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Understandable. Does it work? Like, so far, when it comes to your clients, are they happy with it?
they're super happy with it, yeah, because it can take a little more time, I'll be honest, because it's not a one night game. You can't just one day wake up, put out a LinkedIn post saying that my unpopular opinion is dash and call
Yeah,
it a day.
just call it a day.
Yeah, because
Correct.
then it's like it's forgetful also, right? You need to stick with what you believe in, and then you need to sort of follow that through and through, emit that through and through. That is why it's super important that you don't fake that, because the moment you are not honest about your belief system, nobody will trust you. Why should they? Because somewhere or the other you're going to falter, or you're going to say something that's not going to tie up with your belief system. That is why I take more time to sort of understand this side of it rather than getting into it the other way.
But from what I've noticed on LinkedIn personally is that whenever it comes to personal branding posts also, I just feel like everyone puts a prompt in ChatGPT and gets one post out and then calls it a day.
True. I think it's about how you train your GPT bot, because only you can think the way you think, unless you make your bot understand how you think, and that is important. That's what
That is
changes
scary.
the game.
That is scary. I don't think that should happen.
No, it can happen. See, it's an efficient way. I think in today's time, if I just tell everyone, please write all your 30 posts in a month that you post, I don't think it's going to come off as realistic. And also because people have tied this idea of LinkedIn as, if you want to build a personal brand, you need to put out posts. You can GPT them, you can create them. You just need to put them every day, and that's gonna cut
Like
it.
the frequency is what
Yeah,
matters.
but frequency is not everything, timing is not everything, and consistency of posting is not everything. There's strategy to it, there is engagement to it, there is how you are connecting with people, how you are building your community, and that community building happens with your POV. It
Yeah.
cannot happen with your niche.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah,
Do you want to start with the experiment now? The one that you've been talking about?
let's do it.
You have to tell me. How do you want to start with the experiment?
Okay. On to the experiment. I want you to think of 3 things. We'll start with 1, don't worry. Tell me, let's say the first thing that comes to your mind, which is like a typical parrot statement by a lot of these workaholics or professionals. You know, like the kind of stuff like fake it till you make it, or network your way on the top kind of thing. That kind of stuff. What are some of those statements that you think are complete bullshit?
Not gonna lie, some of these statements I actually believe in. Like, I don't know, fake it till you make it sounds good.
Sounds
because
good?
I
Okay.
feel like you have to fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
But when it comes to other things like sleep is for the weak, I do not agree with that because I would rather sleep. Hustle never stops. Hustle must stop. Hustle needs to stop.
Okay.
Can she stop?
Okay.
Don't like it. Don't know her. I mean, I like hustle, but not all the time.
Okay.
Then we're all a family. What? We're not a family. This is not a family.
Yeah.
And if it is, I'm not.
You don't want-
I don't subscribe to that. I don't want to subscribe to that.
Okay.
There are relationships. There can be happy relationships, but nothing can be like a family. Like I will die for you. Like I'll take a bullet
Yeah.
for you. I'm not gonna take a bullet for a presentation.
Yeah. You know, I can actually imagine you putting out a LinkedIn post dissing the third POV that you heard from people. But here's what I want to know. See, that was not even hard. Like it literally just took like one trigger and it like just all blurted out. But tell me, what would you tell instead? Like what would be your alternative statements to the 3 things that you told me?
I feel like when you're talking about the hustle never stops, your life is a little more than just hustling. If you're not able to take the time to just look around you and take a breather, what are you hustling for?
Yeah.
You hustle till the end, and to what ends? Right? So sometimes you need to just relax.
Yeah.
And the hustle will mean nothing eventually if you're not relaxing, if you don't know what it's like. So
True.
screw that. I do not like that. But I feel like we all should work really hard, but we all should work hard to an end. Like
Yeah.
there is something at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
and sleep is for the weak. I do not think that you should stay up all night, pulling all nighters, working hard all the time. And like when people come and tell me that they've slept for 2 hours last night and they're still functioning, I'm like, why?
Guilty, but okay.
No, why are you working like that?
Yeah, I get it.
You are in a sleep debt. Okay, Astha. You have slept 2 hours last night. You have come and you are putting in 100% of your effort, but your body is crying. If you don't respect your body enough, you will not be able to do this 5 or 10 years down the line. And it's like an investment that you have to make to your body and your physical health, so that your mental health can be good, so that your physical health can be sustainable. You can't just not sleep. It doesn't make sense.
I get it. I'm not gonna debate that, even though I do survive on 2 or 3 hours of sleep on some days, but I don't look at it, or I would never give this advice to someone that, like sleep is for the weak. I think for me, I will balance it out the way
Yeah.
I'd like. Like, I would still love to have 2 hours of sleep and function the next day. It just gives me a kick that nothing else does. But if my body, like on the flip side of it, if my body needs to sleep on a Wednesday,
Yeah.
I will take that. I mean, I know not all corporate people can do that, but I think sleeping on a Wednesday afternoon is the liberty I have earned for myself by doing what I do. So I think that's okay. But I get your point in terms of like how people are just generalizing this piece of advice and like throwing it around like confetti कि यही होता है, मतलब this is the way to life,
Yeah.
is super wrong.
Stupid, yeah. No, as long as you're not promoting something like this, and as long as you have the luxury to get in that sleep at some point in the week at any time, that's good. But yeah, not a lot of people can do that. So that is what I think when it comes to like this nonsense advice. And yeah, when it comes to like we are a family, we're not a family.
Okay.
Let's just stick to that. We are here to work. We're here to put in some hours. We're all working towards an ultimate goal. We will achieve that. And then we will go back home to our families.
Fair.
And then there's that work-wife nonsense. Oh my God, what is happening? What is happening in the world? Have people collectively lost their minds?
Ouch.
What is a work-wife?
But no, that's the thing. I was just thinking of that. The way you just put it, it makes a lot of sense, because that's quite literally what people are doing. It's like 5 people tend to believe that this advice is the best advice, and then the remaining just follow along.
Yeah.
And that is why at the end of the day, there are people like you or me in different ways for different POVs probably, who are sitting and thinking, has the world collectively lost its mind? Because it's not something we resonate with. But I don't think I'll be wrong if I say that there are at least like probably 100 other people who believe in this, who also diss the whole we are family thing, or who also diss the whole sleep is for the weak concept, but are still picking up a mic and talking about it on LinkedIn, well, just because the platform wants it.
Then I think it's the platform's fault.
I don't think it's the platform's fault. I think platform is a medium for people to bring it out.
Yeah.
But it's the people's fault because they are being weak by not putting their POV out.
Okay, I mean, I get it. Okay, this is my POV. Now, given that we're in different spaces
Yeah.
and different niches or different industries altogether, as a business owner, what is the advice that you think is absolute
Bullshit?
garbage? Bullshit.
Quite a few, but I think I'll start with. I think for me, it would be the biggest bullshitting advice is focus on one thing and become the best at it.
Yeah.
Do you agree, or what's your take on that?
I think I've always been a jack of all trades, master of none. But yeah, I do envy people who are excelling in one thing also. But I understand like you will be shitty at everything else. So when it's your game, when it's your home ground, you'll be excelling. But when it's literally anything else, you're like fish out of the water.
Yeah, it's not, because I think, so I agree with it. You should still be an expert at maybe like one thing out of all more than the others.
Yeah.
That kind of concept I understand, but that's where the difference lies, right? There's a difference between having focus versus having a tunnel vision.
Yeah.
Because a tunnel vision just sort of narrows your horizon so much, you just don't give a fuck about anything else. But what if your strength is actually connecting all the different things together? What if that's what you're best at? Like, for example, I don't think I would have put myself into this shoes of a founder or a CEO if I just focused on one thing, because
Yeah.
bloody I gotta run all departments, man. I can't do that by just focusing on one department.
thing.
I can sure split it up with my co-founder, but that's still focusing on a lot many other things. I don't think you can just be focused towards one thing and run your life on it.
Yeah.
Like, everything depends on it.
Okay.
Yes.
That was the first advice that you don't like.
Yeah.
So what else? What else is there?
See, to be honest, if I sit with it, I think because I like to be the natural rebel. I don't like a lot of other advice. So I think one advice that I just don't like or follow is what we are sticking with for the episode as well, which is just find your niche and then, you know, follow that lane kind of thing. Because the way I like to build it off for my clients is more like, I don't want them to fit into a lane and then take that path. I want to find a natural lane for them. Because why this find the lane kind of thing just sort of really hits me in a bad way, or why it drives me crazy, is because one, it's so presumptuous of the fact that this is what people are. Like this, it's just like there are 10 boxes and you have to fit into like box number 1 or box number 5 or box
Yeah.
number 6. Why is that? What if I am someone who is multidimensional by default?
Yeah.
Like, what if I'm wired that way? What if the exact thing that I was speaking previously also, how is it fair for me to be in that one space where I feel like, you know what, I can be a bloody good co-founder, or I can be a bloody good CEO and run a personal brand, and at the same time I can be that person who, I don't know, can take like really good art classes for fun. Like, just
Yeah, everyone has
Yeah.
things that they are good at. Fitting into boxes is where we start lacking.
Exactly. So I hate that advice, and which is why I'm like, you know what? It's better that I build it off from a belief system, because then I can fit my belief system into anything. Whatever niche I want to be a part of, my belief system comes with me.
Yeah.
And that is what sort of defines me naturally. So I can be in my own element, and that is why I hate it when people say just find your niche and stick with it. Yeah.
So is that why we are doing more of a point of view or POV episode instead of a niche-driven approach?
Yes, exactly. That's why, because I want you to walk away with this thing that these are my beliefs. This is what I'm going to stick by. Because see, finding people in any niche today is not hard. It's quite easy. You can find it. But how you think, how you approach different bits, or
Yeah.
you know, what's your way of achieving a particular mark or achieving the best in that niche is very you. So I want that to come out more and more.
No, that completely makes sense. So now let's say that I've given you the 3 things that piss me
Yeah.
off and my reasoning behind the 3, phrases or
Yeah.
philosophies that people abide by in the world. How would you put this into a POV? Because for me, it's just things that I think about, and it's just a conversation that I'm having with you, right?
I'm gonna try. Let's see. Let's put it together. So let me do a quick recap. The 3 things that we spoke of. 1, you said sleep is for the weak. 2nd, hustle never stops. And 3rd was we are a family.
We are a
crap.
family.
Yeah. So these 3 things you're completely anti of.
Yeah.
Right. Now the way I'm looking at it is, you don't like to limit work or career advice to just career and systems. You want, I think, a more holistic approach towards life. And I think, from what I'm understanding, your philosophy is more driven towards how to ace at your job. You need to bring in those holistic things. You need to sort of have a complete life and
Yeah.
not like compartment of work and compartment of life.
Life.
You need it blended
Integrated,
in,
yeah.
right? Am I catching that right?
Yes, that is right. That's
Yeah.
absolutely right.
So that is your POV, and
Okay.
that is what you have to sort of talk about, build more and more on it, because I don't think that like till we sort of identify this POV, it's very difficult to bring it out in a post, because why would you ever think of just randomly putting in this VR family thing is so crap, I want to talk about it on my LinkedIn? I don't think you would
Yeah.
just naturally bring it up like that. But more importantly, even if you were to, let's say, make a dissing post and you say ki VR family thing was crap, but do you think that you will stick by it in every single post that you make on any platform?
No.
No.
That would just be like a one-off like rant that I do.
Exactly.
Something that triggered me at work and I just want to write about it or like put it out there. It
Yeah.
wouldn't be like a brand. It would just be a rant.
Exactly. So people will see it, people will 100% resonate with it, you will find the people who do. But then people will forget about it because you also forgot about it after that one ranty day. So that's what I sort of take into factor and build the brand around the belief system, so that whatever you talk about, how many ever things, if you talk about 1,000 different things, all those 1,000 things resonate with that one philosophy that you have, which in your case will be more towards having a holistic approach towards
Correct.
work life.
Okay. Yeah, I think that is where my strategy or like whatever, your strategy
Yeah.
would come into my philosophy or like
Yeah.
my personal belief system. And when it comes to all of this, I didn't even like, without your help, I wouldn't know that this is what I'm thinking about, or this is what I was disagreeing with, or this is something that I did not agree with, right?
Yeah.
So like, how does one actually reach this point where they understand that yeah, I'm disagreeing with this, I have to stick by it and I have to create this?
Okay. I think the kind of questions that you need to ask yourself, one would be that thing, just take out your notes app and be like, what are the things that get me furious if I hear them at work, you know?
Yeah.
Because I think all of us can easily identify those statements. Because I think finding point of anger is way easier than finding point of happiness,
Yeah.
because if I ask you what makes you happy, you will be like, just so many things. Like, I don't know, a cute guy, a butter yellow bag. Like, there'll be just so many random things you
Yeah,
can be happy
random
about,
things.
right? But if I ask you, what do you hate, or like, what are you furious about, you're going to be on the opposite spectrum, and then you're going to have like a really strong opinion about something. That strong opinion is what we have to get to, because that is going to answer this question of what does she value the most, and which is the kind of thing that I'm looking for, because that is your personality, that can become your brand.
Right.
Yeah. And then sort of tying it together and coming up with a natural way of, you know, like, okay, these are the three disagreements that I have, this is how it's gonna make sense as a philosophy.
Yeah.
So that becomes your one statement. So rather than it being like, I disagree with XYZ, now it's like, Labika's philosophy is that she believes in holistic approach towards work life.
Okay.
And that defines everything, every single step that she takes, every single system that she executes, and every single associate that she ends up handling in life.
Okay, that makes the most sense. And in this way, you're not actually telling your clients or the people that you're working with that on Monday you post this, on Tuesday you post this, and on Thursday you post this.
Yeah.
Right? It's going to be like prompting them to think about
Yeah.
what is their POV and what is their ideology or belief system, and tapping into that instead of giving them a title and telling them that we're going to write about this because it primarily aligns with your work or primarily aligns with your job or industry or niche,
Exactly.
right? Yeah, so
So like, let's take it with an example here as well. Okay, let's say that I am building your personal brand. Okay,
Yeah.
and I am having this cocktail chat with you, wherein I want to sort of understand what can I talk about in this month on your LinkedIn. Okay, so I will probably, now the thing is that you've already told me your philosophy, so I'm aware of that. I'm always going to keep it as a part of storytelling in my head, and I will tell you, let's say one of the topics, I will still come up with a topical calendar.
Yeah.
I will ask you something like, if I'm a layman and I come and ask you, Labika, how do you become a good program manager?
yeah.
How would you give me that advice, and try to couple it with the philosophy that you have?
Right. So if you were to ask me how do you become a good program manager, it's a journey. It's a journey because it's very nuanced. In order to become a good manager or a program manager or any project that you're handling, you need to understand that you have a set of things, you have a set of metrics or KPIs that you're tracking. And beyond that, you need to understand that everything is not just about the numbers that
Yeah.
you're going to put down or the metrics that you're going to publish eventually, or the kind of you know, I don't know, certifications or achievements or rewards that you get by the end of your reporting period or whatever. Ultimately, it depends on how you bring together a whole team. Program management is just one person who's going to anchor down 10 different people who can work together, not
Yeah.
working separately, but you need to have people skills. You need to understand that, you need to understand the way a person works in order to get them to work for you or work towards the ultimate goal. So you are the person who's keeping like that goal aligned, and you are telling or motivating people to, you know, you're telling them that, hey, we need to do this, and then, you know, maybe we should connect with this person, and, you know, we need to work together. So it's basically like a collaborative thing, and collaboration and people skills come into perspective when it comes to program management, more than just working on a presentation or just filling out an Excel sheet or,
Yeah.
you know, publishing something. So that is what makes a good program manager.
You know, while you were sort of giving me that answer,
Yeah.
which was pretty on point actually, but I'll tell you, I already had like 10 different post ideas in my mind with it, because see, the whole thing is how to amplify that philosophy behind it, right? So you made it holistic and complete when you were speaking about it as well. But when, like, let's say when I'm building your post, I would probably add in like very polar elements, like things like step 1, go to sleep.
Yeah, go to
Okay,
sleep.
because it's coming from that anchor point of your philosophy, which is sleep is for the weak. You completely disagree with that. So
Yeah.
I would want to highlight that polarity to be able to find the right people to follow you.
Correct.
So go to sleep, or something like hustle is the worst way to get to be the anchor of your team.
Correct.
Because it's so absurd, and it would make people stop and read, because like, dude, what the fuck is she saying?
Yeah.
You know, like that. And that kind of element or that kind of hook is what we have to sort of,
Yeah, to reel people in.
to reel people in, and we have to build on that. So I will use that philosophical element of yours into talking about your work.
Correct.
Yeah, which is how personal brands should be built.
Yeah.
They should be about your work. They should, of course, be about your niche, but they cannot be just about your niche. Like, just imagine, or just see the difference that it'll have if you put out how to become a good program manager as a LinkedIn post versus sleeping is the best way to become a good
Program manager. I would read that.
Yeah.
I would read that post.
Exactly, and that's what you want. You want your community to
Yeah.
be built by the people that you relate with,
Correct.
and vice versa. They should be able to relate with you. So it doesn't just happen with one thing. It has to be a constant effort. It has to be paired up with a lot of other factors, your posting time, your engagement, and your networking cannot just stop at, you know, it cannot be, I've made a good post, I have boasted about what I believe in, and fuck you all. It cannot
Correct.
be that. You have to find your tribe also, because you have to become someone else's tribe,
Yeah.
right? That's how you match with the right people. So kind of like dating, but like
In a professional,
Yes.
HR approved way.
yes, exactly. How did that land for you? You tell me. How did you understand, or what do you think of this whole POV version of things that we spoke of?
It is very exciting.
Hmm.
By the time this episode comes out, I will
Yeah.
probably be like a LinkedIn influencer,
Ooh.
because in my head my gears are turning, but at the same time I'm panicking. Now I know you've told me all of this. Now I know like the background or like the hard work that goes into building like a personal brand.
Yeah.
How do you start? Where do you begin this?
Okay. So we've already begun. We did our first step of identifying the POV.
Yeah.
We have the POV handy. We have the philosophy handy. Now, you remember those 4 steps that I spoke of at the beginning? That's it. So now, the first post, keep it simple. Just make it like everyone thinks X, but for me, it's about Y.
Why?
Okay?
Yeah.
So just put out your opinion, and that is actually a really good way to put out a hook as well. Effortless hook. Everyone says this, but I think that's bullshit. Okay?
Fair.
Yeah. And then in your post meet or post content, talk about, like, justify it basically. Talk about why you disagree with that advice and what would be your take on it. So share your POV basically. And yeah, the final step is just to, without overthinking it, just publish. That's it.
Yeah, and then don't look at it.
Yeah, don't look at it.
Let it be. Okay, so it's just about me being honest about my posts and then publishing it.
Yeah.
Structuring it and publishing it and finding the right hooks. That's where, again, your help would be needed.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
To find the things that people can read and get attracted to,
Yeah.
or like, so I can reel people in. Okay. Then, don't you think that if I'm talking about my perspective, say how, just as an example, that I do not like We Are a Family, right?
Yeah.
How do I keep posting about it? Won't people get annoyed? Won't it get too repetitive for people to keep reading about the same thing over and over again in every post?
Fair question, but no, it doesn't get repetitive. It just affirms your belief more and more. Because see, if you, like I was telling before as well, if you just put it out once and forget about it, that's it. You will probably gain, like, let's say if it's a really banger of a post, you get 20 followers from that post and you're like, oh my god, yay. But then, and then you're like, this is working, so let me just do this again and again. That's not how it's going to work. There is a certain way that you need to go about it, because at the end of it, you want to come up with a community and not just random follower count increase.
Yeah.
Right? You want people to, if I can put it out this way.
Use an example. Help me with an example.
Okay. Example, let's go with this only. My take is that this find your niche is a stupid advice. Okay. So my first post will be why I think finding niche is the stupidest thing to do.
Okay.
That's my post number 1. Okay. My post number 2 is let's say the process of it, or how to get started on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Is my second post. It's a different concept. I will still bring in the same philosophy. My third thing is I will probably talk about a client story, like how I did this for a client and why it
Yeah.
worked for them. Okay. Then my fourth thing, like maybe like the week after, I'll try to factor in something like the template that you can use to bring it in place, or maybe I will bring up something about what are the 10 questions to ask yourself to identify your philosophy, things like that. So
Yeah.
I will make it so different, but I'm still revolving around that same
You're
core
true to
theme.
yourself. You're true
Yeah.
to your belief system.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Connect as many posts as you can to it, but you're still true to your belief system.
Yeah, so don't try to like speak to everyone.
Yeah.
You know?
I understand all of this. I completely understand how you're talking about being consistent and being true to yourself and your belief system. But what if there are people who are just tired of the same kind of philosophy and then they start unfollowing you? They don't want to read your posts.
I mean, or rather, you only tell me, would you be loved by 100 people or be tolerated by 1,000?
Loved by 100.
Exactly. So it's all about becoming irresistible to that someone rather than being likable for all.
Oh my god, Asta. Is that what you're doing?
That's what I'm doing. No, actually, what I'm doing is owning my weirdness, because I think it's a weapon and everybody is just trying to hide it and pick a lane. But I'm like, you know what? I'm bloody walking with my own shovel and I'll make my own lane. So that's just me.
What I'm taking from this is that you don't want people to be so careful. Gotta be true to yourself,
Yes.
and you just help them contain the chaos. But still, the chaos still exists.
Should exist,
Yeah.
because yeah, koi nahi hai seedha saadha. Everybody's fucking chaotic.
That's true.
I want that chaos to shine through, because see, the whole thing is everybody is chaotic, but people are trying to put up this poised face, you know? Like, no, just be chill. Like, it's okay. There's a reason I'm sitting here on a Sunday cocktail brunch and talking about it, rather than, I don't know, being in a conference room, sitting in, like, I don't know, a tailored skirt and just smiling.
Yeah, that's
on it.
nonsense.
So that.
No, I get it. I hope like our 15 plus listeners also resonate with this the way I am, and this $1 billion advice which you shouldn't be giving for free. To
Everything
me-
is for free. I think all my knowledge is there for everyone for free. But I think I'd love to like sort of build more on it in the
Yeah.
coming episodes, and we'll see how that transforms. But yeah, I think this was fun, and I hope that whoever's watching, at least like even if two of them go back and actually make this POV of theirs and put out a LinkedIn post, I'll be so happy.
Yeah, and who do they have to tag?
Ah,
At Astha Verma.
that's okay. I'll just
All in the description, guys.
Thanks.
Right there.
Cheers to that.
We'll see you guys next time for our next episode, next experiment on me.
Yeah.
And by then, I'll probably have a nice personal brand built. So, cheers.